Fred, like all City fans, you must be devastated to hear the news about Mike Doyle.
Yes, in truth, it hasn't come as a shock because we know that he's been poorly for a long while. But in spite of that, when we hear such sad news, all the Manchester City players, former players, and fans will be devastated.
He wasn't just a teammate; he was a friend, wasn't he?
Yeah, good pal. I was there before he came. I saw his first day at the club, and I saw him developing very quickly into a first team player, and then become a great player, and indeed an international player. People tend to forget that he won some international caps as well for England.
What are your earliest memories of him?
Well, on his first day, he had a scrap with Bobby McAlinden. That was a fair old memory. And because I was the senior apprentice at the time, it was me that was called in before the boss, and put on the carpet to letting this thing happen with two young apprentices, as if I could have done anything to stop it. So that was he certainly made an impression on his first day at the club, but it was more the impression that he made on the field in later life that people will really remember him for.
He really was a true City legend, wasn't he?
He was, simply because he was a great player. He joined City as a 15-year-old and stayed with them through all the great days, and then moved on to Stoke and Bolton, and at the end Rochdale, as we know. But he'll always be remembered as Manchester City through and through, and because he loved to play up to the United supporters, and didn't disguise his loathing of the other side of Manchester. It wasn't totally true, but played up to the image and gave the fans what they wanted.
He was an absolutely fierce City fan as well as player, wasn't he?
Yeah, and he made no secret of the fact. He wore his heart on his sleeve. That's how he played the game, especially in his early days when he was a marauding midfield player. And then a little later on, he moved into the back four alongside various centre-halves, Tommy Booth, Dave Watson, and I thought he became an even greater player. And the fact that there's only two people in the history of Manchester City who've played more times for the club than he has, that's a testimony to how great and consistent a player he was.
He was part of the great Joe Mercer, Malcolm Allison side of the 60s and 70s, won so many trophies for City. How does he rank among the great City players?
Well, he's got to be up there with them all. Obviously, in that team, it was always Lee, Bell, Summerby. But as most proper football people know, there's Alan Oakes, who's played more games for the club than anybody else. Neil Young, fantastic goal scorer and scorer of great goals. Doyle, Glyn Pardo. There were all great players which all go together to make a great team, and he deserves to be mentioned in the same breath as them all.
That's great. Thanks a lot for your time.